Somehow doing the tagline on a night like this just feels good in a place like this.
Wow. A question. Which seat do we imagine Nicole Kidman is sitting in when she's doing that ad?
The free one. Welcome to the Tagline. We are the Cinefanatics. My name is Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
And yeah, it is Wednesday night. It's time to talk some movie news. Yeah, Nicole Kidman is sitting in the chair that is referred to as on the house.
The Nicole Kidman seat.
Yeah, that's the chair that she's in. Oh, good Lord. We've got a lot of movie news, but like most of it actually doesn't pertain to any specific movies coming out in general. So this is going to be a fun episode tonight.
Good stuff.
Yeah. How are y'all doing tonight? Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for being here. We appreciate everyone watching and subscribing and liking and commenting. So do all that stuff if you haven't had a chance yet. Make sure to knock that out. YouTube things right off the bat. Send in questions, comments, issues, streamlabs.com/cinefanatics. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want us to know about, that's a good place. Also, patreon.com/cinefanatics. If you feel like we are worth supporting and you have the means, please hop on the tier that is good for you. We have good things coming up. I don't have any announcements as to what we're doing as far as Patreon yet. We'll probably be figuring that out as soon as this episode is over. So,
well, the easy answer is not this week, but next week and the week after.
Yeah,
we'll Wednesday, be doing after Tagline will be something for you.
Yeah, so just plan on if you're a part of the Patreon and you want to hang out and do stuff, the next 2 Wednesdays, that's when it's going to be because we don't have any other Wednesdays. So
it's a short month.
Anyways, stuff we have coming up. Of course, we've got the marquee that is coming up on the 17th.
That'll not be this Friday, but next Friday.
Yeah, not this Friday, next Friday. That'll be the 17th at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. So make sure to check that out. We will be tier ranking rom-coms. And we do have a special guest. We may have special guests. We'll make that announcement next week.
If you're on our Patreon, therefore you are on our Discord, you will see the list of rom-com movies that we will be tier ranking. That way you can catch up if there's any that you want to watch before you watch the marquee and tier rank with us in the chat.
I also find it funny. I was just thinking about this earlier today, is as we're watching whatever movies we need to rank, are you like logging them in on Letterboxd?
Yeah, I am.
So if you want to cheat, you could just also follow us on Letterboxd and see what movies we're watching.
But
that might give you an idea
on only a few movies, because there's only a few movies on the list that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
those are getting logged on Letterboxd. So those ones you will kind of have an idea as to where they're going to go in the overall list. Although I don't think I did Something's Gotta Give yet.
Yeah. Anyways, also speaking of rom-coms, we do have the Cinefanatics podcast, which is now coming out like every other week. So this next Tuesday, which I believe is
Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we will have our podcast coming out on Tuesday. It is talking about rom-coms. So get our opinions of rom-coms before you get our actual opinions of specific movies on the marquee. So yeah, almost anywhere podcasts are available, there will be a video version here. So check those out as they come out. Make sure you rate them on the podcast, the audio side, and on here. Make sure you like it, comment, the YouTube things, the usuals.
The usual stuff.
Anyways, movies watched over this past week. Chris, what do you got?
I got a couple rom-coms actually. When Harry Met Sally. Yeah, When Harry Met Sally and Something's Gotta Give. Both of those I watched the last couple days, and both of those were movies I hadn't seen yet and needed to catch up on for the marquee. I like one of them a whole lot. I like one of them just okay. You will find out which one goes where if you've followed my tweet on When Harry Met Sally and followed the fact that I didn't tweet on Something's Gotta Give. Anyway, you'll find out specifically where they're going to go when you watch the marquee.
Yeah. Let's see. Over the past week, I really haven't watched anything new. I watched a couple of horror movies.
What's new?
I kind of enjoyed the sorority babes at the Slime Ball Bolorama. Yes, that's a real movie. It involves a bunch of teenagers that are trapped like in a mall, a bowling alley, and they're being annoyed by an imp that's like a terrible puppet.
That sounds dumb.
It is. It was absolutely ridiculous, and it was pretty decent. So, watched Angel Heart with Robert De Niro and Mickey Rourke. It was pretty interesting.
Spent time watching the Slime Bowl of whatever, and hadn't seen Notting Hill until just recently.
And then I watched Notting Hill and Definitely Maybe. So, same thing. You can see how I feel about those movies on Letterboxd, or come back for the marquee and see where they actually stacked up with everything else. So,
yep.
That is all out of the way. I feel like there was something else before we get started with this. Oh, yeah, we haven't been able to see any new movies. We were going to go to a preview screening, press screening, whatever, for Knock at the Cabin. But because of the weather, we weren't able to do that. I think we talked about that last week.
The weather was bad, so we couldn't make it out. I wasn't feeling great, so I wasn't wanting to go anywhere. I feel much better this week, by the way.
Yeah, but
much better today than last Wednesday.
Yeah, but we still haven't been able. Like, I still want to go see Knock at the Cabin, just haven't had the time lately.
I will maybe see it someday.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I still haven't seen Old, so where does M. Night fall on my must see movie list? It's not very high.
Again, Old wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good either. It was a movie. It was a decent movie. It had enough like little suspense in there, but yeah, I don't know how much you'd like it.
So. Gar said the weather outside was frightening. Yes, tell that to the houses in our neighborhood where all the trees have completely fallen apart and all their sticks and everything are at the curb now. I see this every time I go on a walk outside. Whenever I'm able to get out for a walk and the weather's decent, everyone's trees are literally sitting at the curb now because all the ice has made them all fall apart.
Yeah. Garth, I did catch that about Angel Heart. What I didn't necessarily catch was why Mickey Rourke just really does not like chickens, but that was weird.
Who doesn't need an excuse?
Chickens are fabulous.
It's Mickey Rourke. He doesn't need an excuse.
Okay. He doesn't like birds. He doesn't like birds.
Specific. He wants his bird.
He wants his
bird.
Anyways, are there new movies coming out this week?
I can't. It's next week that we're really focused on here. That's when we're going to see Ant-Man. So
next week is Ant-Man. Oh, was it Magic Mike comes out this week? Still need to watch the first two.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, I get that, Garth.
Understood.
Yes. Anyways, let's go. Movie news? Is it movie news?
Hold it together, son. What are we doing? Hey, let's go.
Movie news.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is what's happening in your world tonight.
We apologize for the interruption.
Back to you.
Hey, you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's box office time. Yay! Let's talk about
All right, tell us about how much money Avatar made.
About 11.3 million.
All right, well, Avatar is number one again. Let's go.
Pretty good for being out for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
However, it is not number one this week, finally.
What?
That's right. 2 movies have surpassed Avatar this week, not just one.
What?
From number 1 spot to number 3.
Wow.
That's insane.
You're slipping, Cameron. Cameron, you're slipping.
Come on, James. What are we doing? Jimmy Cams, what's happening? You not producing a movie that stays in the number 1 position for 12 weeks? You got to retire, man.
Yeah.
Number 1 this week, obviously, it's been a big news story across all the movie news areas. Knock at the Cabin, M. Night Shyamalan's movie, has passed Avatar as number one in the box office, but just barely, only by like $3 million.
But that would make it the second time that M. Night Shyamalan has taken down an Avatar movie. I saw that joke on Twitter.
Yeah, I retweeted that joke.
Oh, you did you? Okay.
Good job. Good job. Proud of you.
I can read.
$14 million goes to Knock at the Cabin, with mixed reviews, of course. You know, like most M. Night Shyamalan movies, it typically has some mixed reviews, some good, some bad, depending on who you ask. However, the surprising thing is, what is the number 2 movie that also beat out Avatar? Strap in, folks. Are you ready? You ready for this one? It's 80 for Brady. What? First of all, can I say I saw this? I don't know if it was an Honest Trailers or what it was. It was one of those YouTube programs that makes fun of movies in a fun way. I saw them mention 80 for Brady, and I was like, huh, that's a funny looking fake movie that they invented for the sake of a joke in this YouTube program. No, it's a real movie. It's a real movie, guys. It actually exists. It's a real thing. I've come to learn that over the last week and a half that this movie is actually real. Like it exists. And it's number 2 with $12.7 million going to it.
I don't know a thing about this movie other than I've seen that one image of like who's in it. Like I think it's like Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, Sally Field, and
Rita Moreno.
Yeah. And just 80 for Brady, and they're all wearing like Patriots jerseys.
And Tom Brady's in it too. He makes an appearance, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, this. I thought it would be like an SNL sketch.
That might also be where I saw it too. They might have mentioned it in an SNL sketch, and that's where I maybe first saw it and thought that they just made it up for an SNL sketch. Because it makes complete sense. It sounds like an SNL sketch, the figment of our imagination, you know?
Yeah.
No, it's real. And it made $12.7 million again. That's crazy. It's good. I mean, look, the star power in it, you can't say anything about these legendary women. They're all great. But what the heck is this movie, and why does it exist?
And why did it beat Avatar?
Here's my prediction. Come back to this in about a year. This movie will be up for a Razzie. That's my prediction.
Maybe.
Unless, of course, everybody forgot about it by then, which is also completely possible. Anyway,
they're going to give the Razzie to any of them, and like then the outcry is going to be like, how are you going to give a Razzie to someone as old as they are? They're trying to act while on a ventilator.
That was horrible.
You know, it was trying to play off the joke of the Razzie given.
Show some respect.
Yeah, all of them are fantastic actresses. I mean, no disrespect to them. I'm just thinking what the Razzies are going to do and how people would react to it.
Played them like a violin. Anyway, number 3 is Avatar: The Way of Water. Number 4, BTS, yet to come in cinemas. I think Yet to Come is the name of their tour or show or whatever.
I hope so.
In cinemas.
I hope it's not like a goal or a bucket list for them.
I would really also like it if Box Office Mojo would literally just tell me the films. I don't like what's the actual like number 4 film in the theaters, because a BTS concert I don't care about. I don't think most of us here who care about movies and movie news care about the BTS concert. Also because I'm pretty sure all of the members of BTS got pulled into service. So for their country, because they were all under a certain age, and that's the rules of their country. So they currently are not, as far as I know, an active band because they're all in service right now. So that's fun.
Wasn't that the band that had like one of the monitors dropped on them? Was that BTS or was that another like South Korean boy band?
That might actually be what's that? Was it Blackpink? Is the name of that band? It might be them. I don't know.
Welcome to Cinefanatics, where we tell you how much we know about K-pop.
K-pop!
Yeah. All right, Casey, calm down.
Yeah. Anyway. Same as Hamilton, just a video of music performed on stage, not a movie. Oh. Okay, then. There you go. Either way, I don't care. I liked Hamilton though. Number 5, dropping from the number 2 spot, is the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Number 6, A Man Called Otto. We've gone K-pop, exactly. Number 7, Mithrigan. Number 8 is Missing. Number 9. Again, I want to narrow this down to just movies that are coming out. Because number 9 is a Fathom event of The Chosen season 3 finale, which I believe is it's a Christian show. It's not a movie, but there you go. Number 10 is Python. So
is what?
Python.
Python?
Yes. It's another one along the lines of your RRRs or your the other one that came out.
Hamamatra or Hama.
Kama Sutra.
Brahmastra.
Kama Sutra.
Kama Sutra. That's messed up.
That's not a movie that's going to hit theaters anytime soon. Let me tell you, that's
not the
probably going to hit Netflix. Honestly, to be at this point.
Interesting.
Just kidding. Anyway, there you go. That's your top 10.
I can't believe that Avatar didn't stay number 1, because I know we were saying for a while that Avatar is going to be number 1 until Ant-Man comes out easily.
That M. Night Shyamalan. That M. Night Shyamalan sometimes surprises.
And it's not even a highly rated movie. Like, there's very, very mixed. There's no one that's sitting there like, well, it's just an okay movie. That's either people are like, they really like it or they really hate it. The only thing that's like everyone agrees on is Batista's performance.
Garth, there's no shot you are writing that off the top of your head. You literally got on Google, you Google searched it, copied this information off of Google and pasted it into the chat. What the hell?
Which I have to say, out of everything that you could have Googled in regards to the Kama Sutra, that's what you chose to paste. I mean, I guess you can't put images in the chat, but I mean, aside from that,
God, thank the Lord. Anyway,
let's get off this topic and just go into the Barbie watch.
We have one of those this week because I didn't feel like junk, and therefore you didn't have to make one up. So yeah, your Barbie watch. I'm just now looking at the date on this interview / quote, and I wonder if I've actually brought this up before, but your Barbie watch this week is, again, Margot Robbie had fun while filming this movie. There's no damn news about this movie right now. We need another trailer. We seriously at least need one more. Can we get another trailer, please? Anyway, what's next for movie news?
Believe that we will have a trailer probably within the next week. Probably within the next half a week.
I don't think that has it been reported there's going to be one in the Super Bowl, because last time we checked there wasn't.
Wasn't that what we talked about last week?
Yeah, but that you didn't put Barbie on that list.
Oh, okay. Like, I feel like that would still be like the best place for a Barbie trailer is going to be during the Super Bowl.
Maybe.
Why? Like, I need to really look up the history of why you can't say the name of the game.
I don't know. It might have been that you couldn't put it in the title of your YouTube video. I don't know if it's actually like what the reasoning is now. I just remember hearing big YouTubers state that they couldn't say the name of it for some reason.
Yeah, but I'm seeing like more and more, like there's a cooking YouTuber that I enjoy watching. He dropped a video today making this gigantic sandwich for the Super Bowl, and he's like, this is the sandwich that you make for your party. You can cut it into individual smaller sandwiches and it'll be the big hit at your Super Bowl party. And I was like, that's great. Why is he able to say Super Bowl? I get Super Bowl is copyrighted, but you can't you can't just copyright words or titles.
What is this tangent we're on right now?
I don't know. It's just like, why can't we talk about it? Well, because the reason I bring it up is our plans as of right now for the Super Bowl are going to be, we're going to be sitting like right here ready, or maybe not right here, maybe on our set, but we'll be sitting ready for trailers as they get.
What time is the game?
It's usually like 5 or 6 o'clock our time.
We'll talk about that.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, so that was the idea, is like kind of like what we talked about last week. They're going to drop a bunch of trailers. Some of them, hopefully, a lot of them are going to be released online before the big game. So therefore, we have a little more breathing room when it comes to reacting and filming and getting it up. But
yeah.
So hopefully, I think I heard word that like the Fast and Furious trailer, Fast X, is actually going to drop on Friday. So that would be nice. So
this might be what we have to talk about and trying to figure out how to make that work. Because if I'm reacting to trailers, I don't know if I'll be on Twitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, movie news.
Back to movie news. I just read, speaking of M. Night Shyamalan and how successful he is, M. Night Shyamalan has 3 films planned.
Wait, till like he retires?
Oh, no. He just has 3 films planned. Like from here on out.
So that's like me saying, hey, this cup of water I've got right here, this is going to be my last cup of water.
Like ever?
Today. I'll drink more tomorrow.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of a dumb headline.
So hey, cool. Yeah, wait, breaking news. Filmmaker has more movies planned to make.
YouTuber is going to put up a YouTube video
on Tuesday.
Yeah, like that was such a weird headline. And some of these, I kind of like the idea of like, let's just go through redeemed drink water. I kind of like just going through and looking at some of these news headlines and just see like what's the most like awkward, stupid sounding news. Like what was the other one that we found last night?
I don't know.
There was another one where like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's just the weirdest thing is like you're phrasing it. M. Night has three more films planned, and it's like, wait a minute, you're telling me he's going to be retiring soon? What? That's crazy. And you click on the article and it's like, oh, he's currently just got 3 films that he's planning. In the process of making those next 3 movies, though, he could come up with like another 5. So,
yeah, that and that's the thing. That news article had nothing. It didn't say anything about him retiring. It was just literally this filmmaker has 3 other films he's going to make. After
which
that,
I think
he may make another couple.
That leads into the conversation of what we constitute as a clickbait headline. Because they did their best to try to make that headline as like, wait a minute, does this mean he's retiring? Let me click on this and find out. And it's like, no, he's got other movies planned.
Yeah, that
cool. I'm sure Spielberg's got another movie or 2 he wants to direct. Martin Scorsese's doing at least 1 more. You know, these are older filmmakers. I expect to hear like a retirement thing from them. Damien Chazelle's probably going to work on another few movies. Like, filmmakers make movies.
That's like I worked at a call center. I was like, here, just to let you know, I'm going to answer the phone.
Wow.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Wow. I just laughed at that. I just think that's funny that was like the actual headline. But yeah, so M. Night Shyamalan's got a few more movies planned. Based on his history, one of them will be good-ish, one of them will be bad, and one of them will be I guess some people might like it. And
any of those movies could spontaneously be connected to a previous movie he's made with no point of reference whatsoever.
And none of them are Avatar: The Last Airbender, so rejoice.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. So was it Gladiator 2 is set to release in 2024?
Yeah. They are Scott's finally moving on a Gladiator 2 here. How many years later? That first one was what?
2000.
2000, yeah.
2001.
So 2022, 23, however, 23 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this another one of those situations where we're talking about like a legacy sequel, like we got Top Gun Maverick, or you have any of these where it's like 20 to 30 years later we finally got a sequel and it's gonna be a banger?
So this one is focusing on was it Commodus?
Yeah, his son. Being portrayed by Academy Award nominated Paul Mescal for After Sun.
Interesting.
So it's gonna be an interesting one. I recently saw Gladiator for the first time within like the last 6 months or so. Somewhere in the last 6 months is when I watched it for the first time. And it was okay. I thought it was fine. It wasn't like a huge standout for me. I wasn't like watching the movie and going, "Huh, wow, that was an awesome movie. I see what the hype is." It was fine. Russell Crowe did a great job in it. I think his performance was fantastic, but I don't know.
Did you say the main character's name was Communist?
No.
I think I saw it in the theater, like when it came out, and I kind of had the same opinion. I was like, it was all right. Like I don't see like this whole like. I feel like it's kind of the same with like Braveheart to me.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these are supposed to like these big sprawling period epic movies, and I'm like, they were okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. You do a sequel to it. This could be like another like a Top Gun Maverick or a Blade Runner 2049, something that like comes out years later and is still praised critically. So I just thought it was an interesting piece of news to throw in here that we're getting a Gladiator 2. Usually when a movie is like 20 plus years with a sequel, so you weren't entertained, I was mildly entertained.
Yeah. Are you not mildly entertained?
I thought it was okay.
What do you want from me? Speaking of, there's also apparently going to be a sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer, or another I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
So, I guess that we didn't have that on here, but I mean, I can talk about that, I guess, real quick. So we've had the original I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was based off of a teenage, was it 1970s teenage horror novel before R.L. Stine was popular. And then they made a sequel to it, which wasn't as good, but it was still fun. And then they made another sequel.
I still know what you did last summer.
No, so the third one is I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. And I urge every single person, even if you're not a fan of Dead Meat and James A. Janice's kill counts, go find the kill count for that and watch like the first 30 seconds of that video. It is absolutely hysterical how he talks about that movie. But
I always like back in the day when making fun of the sequel titles, I always imagined that one of the sequels would be like, I Know What You Did 2 summers ago.
Yeah. So as bad as the third movie is, there was an idea that they did set up, which was it was kind of I feel like it was a decent idea, is that the third movie set it up where the fisherman killer guy was now just a spiritual entity that is going after teenagers who may have messed up last summer. The idea behind that is every single person could have something, maybe not to the extent of murder and killing a person, but every single person has stuff that they may have messed up during summer at some point. So theoretically, the idea is that every single person could be haunted by this fisherman killer guy. And
you didn't tip your barista last summer when you got the coffee that one
I
time.
know what you
and
did.
I know it.
You asshole.
No, what is it? So they're gonna make another one. What's this gonna be? I know. Hey, remember that summer way back when? I know it. I still remember what you did that summer.
I haven't forgotten that summer.
I haven't forgotten what you did that summer, 20 years ago. The heck is this title?
Yeah. Apparently it does. The barista always remembers.
It's like Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
I always find out.
So apparently it does have at least Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. signed on for it, which is good. That's definitely a step up from the third movie that had nobody from the previous movies tied to it.
Freddie Prinze is feeling pretty good after his little stint in Star Wars for a little bit.
Yeah. I think even Kevin Williamson looked at that third movie and was like, nah, I'm not going to do this. So
hard pass.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's coming out. Other movie news of stuff coming out. We've got the Constantine sequel is still moving forward. Apparently here's like backtrack real quick. This makes sense because Keanu Reeves is popular, extremely popular. I don't know if it's even. I guess it's not going to be tied to the DCU because James Gunn didn't talk about Constantine at all. He didn't even mention Constantine as part of the Elseworlds.
No, but it would be one of the Elseworlds because he literally said anything that's not in the DCU is considered an Elseworld story. So that would mean that anything that has happened prior, I guess at this point, would be considered an Elseworld story in relation to the DCU now.
Yeah.
So that would mean the first one, and now its inevitable sequel here will be considered Elseworld stories, which is interesting because you think, I mean, I get it, but do we not want a Constantine that's part of the DCU? You know that you're doing it with Batman. You've got your Matt Reeves Batman movies, and you're going to do a Batman in the DCU, but are we really going to do that with Constantine?
The fact that James Gunn did announce Swamp Thing as part of the DCU, it would make sense to also tie Constantine in. The thing is with Constantine, I'm not a huge fan of the character, but I definitely liked what's his face, Matt. I forgot his last name. The guy who played Constantine in the CW.
Yeah.
I think he was a way better Constantine than Keanu Reeves.
Not that much. You remember Keanu Reeves' name?
Well, sure. I also didn't watch like too much of the CW WB.
CW.
Yeah. I also didn't watch too much of that, but just the amount that I've seen of Constantine from those shows and his own, I think he had his own show and then spun off into the CW. Yeah, he was a much better looking and sounding Constantine than what we got in Keanu Reeves.
Sure. But that's interesting. It's interesting that we're getting a sequel to
that's it.
Matt Ryan, yeah. It's interesting that we're getting a sequel to this movie because again, like sequels to movies that haven't been out that have been out for a very long time. So hot right now.
And that again, so kind of going back to Gladiator. Gladiator was a very popular movie, won the Best Picture at the Oscars. Constantine, not that popular. Like, I think maybe now it's achieved like some form of a cult status, but I still like. I remember when that movie came out, most people were like, all right, it's Keanu Reeves fighting spirits or something. So, I don't know. I guess that's what I'm thinking. The whole thing is popular because comic book movies, DC's big in the news right now, and Keanu Reeves. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why it's getting greenlit. So,
and on top of that, just Hollywood's really loving their hey, that movie could get a sequel. Make it.
Yeah.
Which, hey, cool. Nice Guys, Alita, Detective Pikachu. Find some way to do Man from U.N.C.L.E. I recast Armie Hammer, duh.
One of the men from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, these hello, they're right here. These movies are right here.
And people have been begging for it. Like, there's about as much internet. I've seen as much internet discourse about a sequel to The Nice Guys almost about as much as I saw like the internet crashing when we saw the first ugly Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it's right there. People have been saying this on a daily basis. Why is no one greenlighting this?
Right.
Or at least answer us. At least answer as to why no one's greenlighting it. Yeah, if you're not going to make it, tell people why. Hey, Ryan Gosling doesn't want anything to do with this anymore. Okay, well, if he doesn't, I guess. And then the internet can go try to convince him. Excuse me, sir. Do you like money?
Do you like appealing to your fans and people who like watching you?
Yeah. The other big one that was actually announced a few hours ago, actually, is Bob Iger has announced that some sequels that are going to be coming out. Zootopia 2, because we're wanting that. Hey, don't get me wrong. Zootopia was all right. It had a lot of funny moments.
Had a good story, good, interesting story to it. That's the Disney train. The Disney train is the Disney train. If it can have another story, if it's an interesting, unique world that you can make another story in, we're going to make another story in it.
Yeah. Recast the man from Uncle instead of Armie Hammer. Get that guy who played his twin brother in The Social Network. Good, Garth. Good job.
Actually, that might have been a joke, but he's not wrong.
Get the guy that was the stand-in.
Homie who played young Ra's al Ghul in Dark Knight Rises was also a brief cameo in La La Land. He literally looks like young Liam Neeson. I think he was actually the stand-in for the Armie Hammer twin in Social Network. So you could actually go that route because he's not doing much. Give him some more to do.
That's cool. Frozen 3 is going to be coming out because money.
Oh, and here's the thing. Well, actually, no, I'll mention that in a second. Go ahead and keep going.
And the other one coming out, Toy Story 5.
What? Okay. Toy Story franchise, my franchise. I grew up with that thing. That is my franchise, y'all. Toy Story 1 came out. I was a kid, loved it. 2, still a kid. 3, Andy's going to college the same time that I was taking community college courses. The franchise literally grew with me. 4th one wasn't necessary. Franchise did actually wrap up pretty well with number 3, but I still enjoyed the 4th one anyway. I still thought it was perfectly fine. 5th movie. I'm more interested in Frozen 3.
Yeah.
I'll still watch Toy Story 5, but I actually have more interest at this point in Frozen 3 than I do Toy Story 5. So
I remember, I agree. Toy Story 3 was a nice, wasn't it? That was the one that ends with the toys being passed on to Bonnie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got all the tears. Everybody is crying, and it's such a heartfelt ending. There was no need for the 4th movie. I like the story that they did with the 4th movie.
It still made me cry. The 4th one still made me cry.
Yeah. I don't know what they do with a 5th movie now.
I don't either. I mean,
I don't understand any possible story they could come up with that could make that a good movie. I could think of a couple small little stories they could play with some of the characters, but I feel like basically all you're doing is you're taking Mr. Potato Head and let's give him a small arc. Let's give Slinky Dog a small arc. Let's give Bo Peep a small let's give these characters tiny little arcs that all just combine to form a movie. It's going to feel like an episode of Saturday Night Live. Everybody has their own little place within this movie, and there's no overarching story because there's nothing really left to tell.
I also feel like if they don't stop anytime soon, they're going to have to recast Slinky again.
And y'all got lucky. Y'all got so lucky that Blake Clark sounds exactly like Jim Varney. You have no idea how blessed this world was.
Yeah,
but
it felt seamless. Couldn't even tell.
No,
but yeah, Toy Story 5. I'm very curious. I'm very curious what. At this point, I feel like if you come up with a good story for Toy Story 5, you better also come up with a good story for a Toy Story 6, and then stop. Give it the 2 trilogy treatment and stop. We're going to get prequels. We're going to get prequels too. This is going to be the new Star Wars, isn't it?
No, at this rate, it's going to be the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Yeah, that's also true. Toy 10. Fasten your toy seatbelt, whatever. What's happening?
Yeah.
I'm just saying words at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, Jim Varney, yeah, he did have a very unique voice to that. And I remember like being a fan of both Boy Meets World and Home Improvement back in the 90s. That both of them had Blake Clark on as a usually a side character. But every time we watched it, like, man, he sounds just like Slinky Dog. If they ever needed to replace Jim Varney, that's who they should go to. And then it was announced that Jim Varney passed away, and every single person on this planet before the internet was created was like, there you go.
Blake Clark, hire him.
Blake Clark.
Give him the bag of money. He'll be there.
And that's one of those situations that I think like just people automatically knew. Kind of like when they made the X-Men movie, everyone just knew you make Patrick Stewart Professor X. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no discussion about this. And it just moved on and it was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I will, again, like, it came across as humor, but I legitimately am actually looking more forward to Frozen 3 than I would be Toy Story 5 at this point.
I haven't even seen Frozen 2 yet. I saw the first Frozen. I was like, it's cute.
You think Chris Evans would replace Tim Allen if Buzz is back? No. I think they would still get Tim Allen because Tim Allen is that Buzz Lightyear.
Tim Allen is the toy. Chris Evans is the actual person.
Or the fictional person in the fictional movie that exists within that fictional universe.
Yeah, that's why I don't know why that was such a big deal when Lightyear came out and was like, why isn't it not Tim Allen? Because it's not the toy.
It's a different Buzz Lightyear. It's essentially a different Buzz Lightyear. Just go with that. It's not the same Buzz Lightyear.
Something was like self-explanatory, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I don't know. Anyway, those are things that we can look forward to from the Disney machine.
Yeah. Anyways, before we move on to main topic, what was it? Last night or the night before was the Ant-Man premiere.
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. First impressions that we're hearing, no spoilers, because apparently there's like still an embargo, so no one's doing a real spoiler review yet. A lot of people like this movie. It does sound like from a lot of reviewers that we've been looking at, a lot of them are saying that it does dive a lot more into a sci-fi aspect, which is weird because they've been using the word quantum in every freaking movie like since the first Ant-Man movie, and now also it's like bled into all the other MCU movies.
They even made the comment that they've been saying quantum in literally every single thing.
Yeah, you guys just stick the word quantum in front of everything. Like, so these movies have been very, very deep in some kind of sci-fi. Just saying buzzwords that we're all like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand quantum, got it. But yeah, so apparently this is even more sci-fi than that. And some people are not happy with like the ending, I guess. Like some people are just very iffy on how it ends.
Interesting.
Again, there hasn't been any spoilers, so I have nothing to actually spoil. But I mean, obviously the movie's the big ending of the movie is Ant-Man and Wasp fighting Kang. Guessing there's something that doesn't go right in that, or.
But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This is one of those situations where
you got to set up other movies. So.
We know that there's a movie coming up in Phase 6 that's called The Kang Dynasty, or the Avengers Kang Dynasty, not the Kang Dynasty, but you know what I'm saying.
We know Kang is supposed to be the next Thanos.
We know Kang is coming back. We know Kang is going to be the overarching villain of the multiverse saga, just like Thanos was the overarching villain of the Infinity Saga. So
I'm wondering, I'm just gonna play a guess here. Those of y'all that don't know the comics, this may reveal something at least about the character of the comics, but I'm wondering if they're doing something where they kill Kang at the end of this movie, and then like the post credits is showing that Kang is actually still alive, and everyone's like, well, you're gonna kill the bad guy, but he's still alive. Well, yeah, because that's how Kang works in the comics. He has multiple versions of him across a multiverse.
And if you watch Loki, they set that up. Loki,
yeah,
he who remains in Loki told us there's a lot of me out there.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of me, and so we should expect a lot of him popping up here and there in various forms and fashions. So
yeah, I wonder if that's what they're gonna do. And I could see that as being something that people just generally may not like, because you're taking away like we beat the bad guy type of aspect of it. And you didn't beat the bad guy. You're not gonna beat the bad guy until at least King Dynasty, maybe.
I hope that's the problem that people have with it, because if that's the problem people have with it, then I'm gonna like this movie.
Yeah,
because you want the good guy to win, but also we know King is a formidable threat who's going to be so for the next phase and two phases. This is the start of the phase 5, so. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting hearing the people who are kind of sour about the movie a little bit. Kind of hear them talking up some good parts. You know, the performances, of course. You know, we're hearing good things about Jonathan Majors as King, which of course we've seen Loki. We know the kind of direction that they're generally wanting to head in. And from my little not interaction but experience with seeing Kang in media. I expect that he's going to be a very fascinating character to watch.
I am so eager for that Hot Toys too when it comes out. I'm not even. I don't like Kang at all. Kang is not a interesting villain in my opinion, as far as me growing up reading the comics. But I am super excited to get that Hot Toy.
It's going to be a good Hot Toy.
It is.
So, like, my experience with Kang is more along the lines of when Kang made appearances in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is a great cartoon, by the way, if y'all haven't seen it. It's a great Avengers cartoon. Kang made some very interesting, fun appearances in that, and that's kind of my first real experience seeing Kang in any kind of activity of sort. Obviously, I didn't read the comics or anything either, but I just know that, like, from that and what I know about the character already from the information that has been present for years and years, it's going to be an interesting character to watch develop. Going to be a very interesting character to watch develop. And I think Jonathan Majors is at the right one, the Marvel casting machine. Let's talk about that for a second. The Marvel casting machine, again, hitting it out of the park. Jonathan Majors in the right time in his career to be signing on to a role like this. And the guy is fantastic. He is a fantastic actor. And so seeing him in this role is going to add a lot of, like, solid, fun gravitas to the character, which is what they need for it. They just nailed it, I think, with the Jonathan Majors casting here.
Jake Iacovetta, Kang will end you. Here's the other thing I like too. I'm going to use Jake here as an example. Jake, did you know of Kang the Conqueror before he was announced as a villain? Because what we're seeing
like
here
Thanos.
Is like Thanos. The comic book geeks have known these characters for decades. These characters have been around since like the 60s, 70s, 80s. Decades we have known about. There's a whole bunch of lore. Yeah. And now all of a sudden this is a character that's also going to be a household name. Everybody and their mom knows who Thanos is. In fact, we actually asked our mom at one point, like, hey, so what did you think of Thanos? Or we were talking about like the Avengers movies and she was mentioning Thanos. And we're like, I can't believe I'm hearing the word Thanos coming out of your mouth. Like, it's just weird hearing that is a name that now people everywhere know of. Like, yeah, Kang. Everyone's now going to know who Kang is, and it's just so strange.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good on Marvel.
The power of the Marvel machine.
Yeah. Anyways, he said, no, I didn't know about Kang. Yeah. Did he say gravitas? Yep.
I did, in fact, say gravitas.
Anyways, let's stop talking about movies and let's talk about, like, some movie business. So I'm going to give you all a little insight to the behind the scenes here. We've mentioned it before. We have like a document that has like all of our notes and bullet points of what we're wanting to talk about to follow through with this show. And for this one, it says Netflix password bullshit.
That's all you need to say.
That's really all we need to say. So yeah, this has been known for a while. Netflix was trying to crack down on people that are sharing passwords. They're sharing their accounts with not just with their family. Like, it makes sense. The idea was originally like you could share it with your family so everyone could have their own like little profile. But what actually is happening is friends are sharing their passwords and everyone with their other friends and family members, people who may not live in the same house. And Netflix was wanting to crack down on it because why? Money. I mean,
we're losing money.
Yeah, like say the two of us live in the same house, it would make sense for the two of us to share the same Netflix account. But if someone else has a Netflix, if one of our friends has a Netflix account and we're piggybacking off them, Netflix wants to get their money for their account and our money for our account, not sharing all this. Mm-hmm. As of right now, Netflix is the only one that seems to think that this is an issue. I don't hear anything from like Disney or HBO Max or any other streaming service that is saying anything about this. So Netflix is the only one that's like basically making it a problem. Mm-hmm. Which I understand. Yes, you could theoretically, you should be getting everybody's money fairly, but that's not the way the world works. Shit's expensive, and if there's a way for us to save money, that's what we're going to do. Because I mean, technically, it's not illegal. So, yeah, like that, like what Jake is doing, traveling for work. Yeah, that was weird. So they put out a plan that what they're going to do is that you have to log into your Netflix account from your home internet. Couple of problems here. VPNs. If you use a VPN, your home internet, your home IP address may change frequently. You don't have like a home base IP address.
So you're trying to keep it hidden so that your information stays safe on the internet.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little weird. And then also, like stuff like with Garth. You were in the hospital from like, what was it, Thanksgiving through MLK?
Halloween through
MLK. Yeah, like that's an insane amount of time. And what are you supposed to do? Have someone go run to your home and check into Netflix while you're in the hospital? That's something that someone has to go do now? Yeah, like that's insane.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about this real quick. What this is somebody in the Netflix board of directors, business control, whatever. They're overvaluing Netflix as a service for people. The reason they're overvaluing this is because they think that they have a good market share on streaming. The truth be told, they come up with some good movies every now and then. Definitely not you people. Definitely Glass Onion. They come up with some good movies every now and then, and they've got some good shows every now and then. Stranger Things. But what they're not taking into consideration is they're looking at this. Here's the business structure they're looking at. They're looking at Timmy is sharing his Netflix password with these other three people whose names I'm not going to give them names because I'm going to forget them throughout this example. Timmy's sharing his password with three other people. They're looking at it going, well, crap, you know what? That's 3 extra accounts that we could have on Netflix. We could have 4 accounts here instead of just 1. So we're going to force them all to stop sharing their password and all get accounts. What they're not taking into consideration is one thing. These other 3 people who are getting password sharing, they don't need Netflix that bad. They don't really need Netflix. None of us really need Netflix that bad. None of us really need any streaming service that badly. If it means we save, however much money because they keep raising the price every month for certain subscribers, if it means they save that much money per month, those 3 people will just go without Netflix. So now what you're doing is now you're enforcing a rule or a system where the one person who is paying for the Netflix account is going, hey, you know what? I don't really want to have to check in every month. I don't really want to do that. And I don't need Netflix that bad. I'll sign back up when Stranger Things season 5 comes out. I'll watch through that, and then I'll cancel my account again. And they're canceling their account.
Yeah.
So the people at Netflix are overvaluing Netflix, and they're shooting themselves in the foot over it because instead of getting 4 accounts, they're now losing the 1 account they did have.
Yeah. And the downside to this, a couple of things. One, Netflix isn't even the top rated streaming service anymore.
Not anymore.
The focus needs to be on them regaining that status. Yeah. They are being beaten badly by HBO Max, which is going through its own shit right now, but they're being beaten by HBO Max, Disney Plus, maybe Hulu. I don't know. Hulu's not that strong anymore either, but I mean,
Hulu's kind of in the same bucket as Disney Plus at this point.
Yeah, but at least I would say easily just looking at it, objectively, I don't have like any stock in any of these businesses or anything. I would say HBO Max and Disney Plus are easily more powerful, more popular than Netflix.
Even Apple Plus is rising up the ranks here.
Yeah, Apple Plus has been doing some good stuff lately. So, so one, you need to be focusing on your shows and not your password crackdowns, because exactly like what you said, you're going to end up losing subscribers because people are like, it's not worth it. It's $16 a month. I think the plan that I'm on right now with Netflix is like $16 a month, which doesn't sound like much. But to put this in perspective, and this is kind of like a public announcement of this, I used to work for a cable company.
Hey,
I no longer work for this cable internet provider anymore. But one of the things that we were told to kind of help get customers to sign up for cable TV is to point out to customers, hey, so you're not watching cable TV, you're streaming. So what are you streaming? Oh, okay. So you have Netflix, Disney, HBO Max, Peacock, Hulu, Paramount. You have all these streaming. So how much are you paying for these streaming services? Oh, you're paying like over $100. Well, if you just sign up with our cable package bundled with your internet, you would only be spending $60. And that was what they legitimately, like, within training for the job that I had, they told us that in training to use against customers to get customers to sign on the cable. The problem, and this is why I feel like when I make comments of like, I'm able to recognize business decisions because these big businesses are telling me things that are stupid and don't make sense. Cable companies don't offer the same thing that a streaming service does. You can't sign up with cable and watch Stranger Things. Mm-mm. And that's what they would tell us is like, well, ask the customers what they watch on the streaming service and then recommend something else. Like the best example I had was someone was saying, you ask a customer what they watch on Netflix and they say, oh, I like Orange is the New Black. So then you, as the representative, quickly like Google Orange is the New Black if you don't know what it is already, and find other shows that play on cable TV that involve a women's prison. I was like, that's not the same thing, you fucking moron. That's stupid. So there's that issue. So yeah, it might just be $16, but when you add it to everything else, it's a lot of money. And people are like, you know what? $16.99 or whatever, one less hassle I have to worry about. Be gone. The other downside to it, and this is big for the industry as a whole, is kind of like we were saying, people are going to not subscribe to Netflix anymore. You know what they're going to do? They're going to go to the pirate sites. They're going to start torrenting these movies and stuff on there.
You're going to be lucky if you get Timmy signing back up for Stranger Things season 5. He might just wait and just download the whole thing if he's the type that would do that.
Yeah. Or like, what is it? Is it Murder Mystery? Was that like one of the ones that was big on Netflix? The Adam Sandler.
Yeah, it's like an Adam Sandler one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So once that movie's released on Netflix, the way the internet works is that movie is available digitally. Guarantee you could go find it on the pirate sites.
Yep.
So that's what's going to happen is people aren't going to sign up. Even it is, again, $16.99, which for most people, chump change, probably drop in the bucket in their budget. So what? They're just going to go download it for free off of a pirate site rather than sign up for your $16.99 crap. Just because of this. This is not that big of an issue when looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah. So ultimately, what Jeremy brings up here is the truth of it. Sharing passwords isn't the problem. Overspending on projects and greenlighting thousands of shows is. If you want to cut your budget back, you need to cut it from spending like a multi-million, billion, whatever dollar deal for Adam Sandler to do like 10 projects on your platform, when 8 or 9 of those 10 projects aren't great. They're just not great. You're spending too much money on things that you're not actually taking the time to make sure you're producing good stuff on. I'm not trying to get at Adam Sandler. He's produced some really good stuff lately, but like hustle. But what I'm saying is that they are spending too much money on projects that aren't good, that have not had enough development time, or, you know, they haven't had enough people with their eyes on the script or whatever, for whatever reason. Netflix is producing stuff that isn't great, and they're overspending on that stuff.
Well, they're hoping
that's where the budget is. That's where the budget needs to be cut at.
they're hoping one of those is going to catch like Stranger Things. So what they're doing is they're just throwing a ton of money at something and hoping it sticks, and then they could just pump it out like they do Stranger Things. Especially because Stranger Things is about to go into production for its final season. So they're not going to have that Stranger Thing money anymore either. Although I guess, what weren't they saying there was going to be a spinoff?
I don't know.
Yeah, it would be stupid for them not to announce a spinoff, and it's probably going to be terrible, but whatever.
Either way. So they said this password thing was happening, and then the internet said, not a good call. And Netflix was like, okay, so we didn't mean that for America.
Yeah, that's some backpedaling BS.
Backpedaling faster, you're going right through this wall behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of we didn't mean that to happen yet for America. Like they're kind of doing some kind of like, it's still going to happen though. We weren't ready to say it yet for every territory. Like,
you know where I've heard this before? You know what this sounds like? Movie Pass.
Ooh.
It's the same kind of crap Movie Pass was trying to do. Oh, we didn't mean for this to actually be out in public yet. We're gonna work on this a little bit more. And then we're still going to fail.
Yeah.
So if I could speak directly to Netflix, the first thing I would tell them is like, drop all of this. Just forget about it. Work on becoming the bigger streaming. Get better in the public eye as far as what you have. Cut back on how much spending you're making.
Yeah.
Give us quality, not quantity.
Yep.
I mean, all these other streaming services are popping up. They're all taking away from Netflix's library, which is why Netflix is pumping out original content so much, but none of it's good.
You had the Knives Out deal with Rian Johnson. Good deal. Good deal.
Should have left it in the theater a little bit longer than a week, but.
And that's the other thing. That's the other answer to it. You're going to spend money producing this for Netflix. Get some box office receipts on it too. Because that's how you make a lot of your money back too, is getting some box office receipts. More quality, less quantity. I know that feels counter because you want people to have a wealth of things that they can watch when they sign up for your thing. But they just might have to deal with folks signing up and signing off, per project for a little while, until they start building up enough quality projects that people are like, you know what, I will hang on to this for a while because I might want to watch one of those other shows or movies at some point, and I don't want to have to deal with the hassle of canceling and subscribing again. So that's what they need to do. Stop overspending on projects that aren't good. Start being pickier and choosier on what you produce. Put them in theaters for a little bit longer and produce more quality, less quantity.
Yeah.
And then don't worry about this password sharing thing.
That needs to be like the least of their worries right now.
If they're not careful, Blockbuster's going to swoop in here and make a streaming service and take them over.
Oh, that would be so funny if someone was able to start up Blockbuster again and just wipe it out.
I'd be sitting back here with some tea and some popcorn and just watching the whole thing happen, and I would love it.
What are you watching tonight? Business Reports.
Why?
I'm not even watching a movie. I'm watching C-SPAN is what I'm watching.
I remember when we went to Blockbuster on Friday night, rented a movie, and came home and just had a great old time. Same thing, except we're not going to Blockbuster. We're just watching it take Netflix back over.
Which is sad because I miss going to the store and like, oh, there's a movie, and then read the back. Oh, this sounds interesting. That's some cool artwork. Like, I miss being able to do that.
Yeah.
And then while you're walking up and down the aisles looking at what movie, all of a sudden you get hit with the bubble guts and you're like, I got to pick a movie and hurry up and get home. Like, this is not feeling good. So you don't watch C-SPAN?
Just to clarify, Lego, that is not a channel dedicated to Cocker Spaniels.
Yeah. So anyways, enough about Netflix's dumbassery. Let's talk about AMC's dumbassery.
Yeah, one dumbassery to the next. Let's do it.
AMC announced this past week their new Sightline plan. Like what? Fresh off the heels of both the pandemic and their absolutely award-winning commercial with Nicole Kidman saying that heartbreak feels good in a place like this, they decided that, you know what we're going to do is we're going to adjust our pricing for movie tickets like any other form of entertainment that you go to, whether it's a sporting event or a concert, where the closer, the better the seats, the higher price you pay, which absolutely makes sense at a concert or a sporting event. Sure, I completely agree and understand that business model. A lot of people want to be as close as they can to the performer on stage or the field so they can see better. They pay more for that. That works. That doesn't work in a movie theater. One, a movie theater is not a one-off event. Also, tickets for a movie theater are not astronomical. In general, for the most part, I would say most of your middle-class America can go see a movie almost whenever they want. The tickets are still affordable. Going to a concert, so like ticket prices for us, when both of us go see a movie, we're generally paying about $30.
It's about
like
$12 to take it before tax or anything like that.
It's like $12, $13 for the ticket, then add tax and convenient fees because I'm usually doing it on an app on my phone type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about $30 for the two of us to go see a movie. That's usually not that big of a deal. Yeah. When you go to a concert, like today, I just got notified that Duran Duran is coming to Austin, Texas, and I kind of want to see Duran Duran. Ticket prices for that are going to be over $100 easily. And I'm not a person that needs to be in the front row. I don't need to be like right there in the pit standing. When I go to a rock concert, I don't want to be anywhere near the mosh pit. I'm okay being in the back of the room as long as I can still see the performers and hear the concert. That's great. I'm getting my money's worth. I'm still going to end up paying over $100 for those tickets, no matter where I'm at in that room. Mm-hmm. So there's a huge disconnection there. This isn't a one-off event. Like if I don't get to see Duran Duran when they come here to Austin, Texas, who knows if I'm ever going to get to see them or when they might come back. Yeah, especially in their age.
But also, like most of the price differences for these seats, like what they call the preferred sight line, which I don't know what my issue is with that. The sight line terminology, I'm like, that is so stupid. I don't know what my issue is with it, why I don't like it, but for some reason I'm like, sight line? No.
The line of sight, yeah.
I know what the word means, yes, but using it as a term here, I hate it. Preferred sightline seats are like $1 or $2 more than your standard seats. And then, of course, the front row is the $1 or $2 less than your standard seats. Here's the thing, and this is my semi-lukewarm take about this whole situation. I actually don't mind this business plan, just not the way they're executing it. I think that you can have your preferred seats. Those seats are the standard ticket price. Then your standard seats that they have right now, those are $1 less, 50 cents less, whatever price, a little bit less. And then your front row is like the $2 less. That I think is great. Their goal here ultimately is to get more people to fill out the seats for theaters. Their goal is to bring more people in, and they feel like they can do that by changing up the pricing of the seats and everything. But what they're not doing is they're not taking into account that while, yes, a lot of people do stupid things all the time, a lot of people also aren't this stupid. They're not dumb enough to realize that, no, you just raised the price on a couple seats, and that's not going to bring me into the theater. That's actually going to actively turn me away. So much so that I, at this point, have no qualms with never going to an AMC and going to the theater that we already go to.
Well, luckily for us, specifically, we're in a location that we have, like, say, three movie theaters fairly close to us. We have an Alamo Draft House. We have the theater that we typically go to because it has the nice reclining seating, and there is an AMC. And out of those three theaters, the AMC is the least theater that we go to.
It's literally the closest one, too.
Well, the Alamo is probably the closest to us, but the AMC is the next closest.
No, AMC is the closest one. And then so my thought on this is like your seat pricing actually does work, but instead of raising the price on any seats, you just lower the price on all of them. And because that doesn't play well, that doesn't play well with the business heads in the boardroom. They're not going to do that. So leave it alone. If you're not going to do that, then leave it alone. Because here's the thing: you're not going to attract people into the theater. Mm-hmm. You're just not going to attract people in the theater by raising ticket prices.
So a couple of things with this is kind of like what Jeremy's saying here. I feel like offering more matinee prices. So keep in mind, this is only affecting the prices of seats for shows that start after 4 p.m. So before 4 p.m., this seating pricing thing doesn't matter. It's after 4 p.m. is when it starts. So that's when the majority of people are going to the movie theater.
Is that also counting for like new release first run? So like we go see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania if we were to go like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, if they had a 3 o'clock in the afternoon showing.
Yeah, theoretically this wouldn't qualify. But if it's after 4 o'clock,
this is a dumb plan.
Yeah. And then the other thing is this is causing, and I saw Elijah Wood actually was calling this out publicly on social media, where it's basically forcing people of certain income levels that, hey, if you're poor and you have the ability to save money on a theater seat, that's where you're going to go. So therefore, it's like, if you're poor, you're never going to go see a movie in a nice seat. You're never going to get to enjoy a good sight line to that movie theater screen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, that's what I say. That's why the thumbnail was saying income shaming. That's basically what it's doing. Like, if you're rich, you could sit at the best seat in the house, but someone who may not be as well off, they're going to save money unless they want to pay extra for that, which they probably don't. The other downside to that is we're still in the process of trying to get butts back in the theater coming off of a pandemic. This is not the time to be doing something radical and new like this. This is a time to be like doing everything you can to get people back into the theaters. Like, look,
lowering prices.
Netflix is fucking up with their stupid like subscription thing. Let's go to see a movie in the theater. Like,
oh no, we can't. AMC is charging an extra $2 for seats.
Well, you know what? People just aren't going to watch movies anymore, and that's the end of this channel. Thank y'all for subscribing and be a part of us. We'll see y'all at something else.
It was a great run.
Yeah, maybe I'll start a food channel or something. But no, like we're still like coming off of this pandemic. This is not the time to be doing this, you dumbasses.
Here's the thing also, too, is they're doing this in test markets right now. It's not released to every AMC theater. It's only in test. What about like MCU movies that get sold out? How does that affect the test market numbers when essentially you are now forcing people to buy those tickets, buy those seats, because people are going to go see that the big MCU movies, the big tentpoles like that, those seats are going to get sold out no matter what you price the ticket. You could probably price all those seats at another extra $15, and people may try to go find another theater first, but more than likely those theaters will get sold out. So they'll still end up paying that price for your theater anyway.
It depends on the people. Like people like you and me, when the Ant-Man tickets dropped, when they were available for sale, because you and I are movie people, I immediately got those tickets.
Yeah.
Someone who is not a hardcore movie fan or running a movie YouTube channel like we do, they may not care right away. They may actually wait for Ant-Man to come out, like, oh, hey, there's a third Ant-Man movie out this weekend. Y'all want to go see it? Yeah, let's see what's available. The only place we could get tickets is at AMC. Sure. And therefore AMC is going to be profiting off of that. Off of those kinds of people.
And
the people like us are we're jumping on it fast enough to get our preferred choice of theater and the seat in that theater.
Yeah, by the time those people jump on, the only seats available are the ones that were more expensive that nobody else chose, and so now they're forced to pay more. Which isn't right, because honestly, like I think at this point, if you're going to do this plan, you still do it at the best seats are the standard price, and everything else is just lower. If you want people to come back to the theater, lower the price for them.
I want to know one thing I haven't seen anyone talk about. I want to know the movie studio's point of view on this. If y'all are familiar with like how movie studios and movie theaters, how they make a profit off of movies, generally, and I'm gonna this is gonna be super like dumbed down on this, but generally when a movie, say let's say Ant-Man, when it comes out, like 90% of the ticket sales that opening 3 or 4 weeks probably for that movie specifically, 90% of those ticket sales are going to go to Disney.
Yeah.
Disney's the one that's making 90% of the profit off of there. The other 10% will go to the theater. That's why theater concessions are so bloody expensive, because that's where they need to make the money off of it. I'm wondering how this is going to work, because I don't know. This might be per theater company. So like Alamo, AMC, Cinemark, Regal, if Regal still exists, all of these may have like their own different agreements with the movie studios that say like AMC may have a profit share of 80%. So that first opening week, at least for Ant-Man, 90% of that, of the money for those ticket sales are going to go to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But is that 90% of the ticket sales. Now the actual cost of that ticket, say if it's $12, if it's at a 80%, so 80% of that $12 is going to go to them. How does this increase of the ticket sales? I know this is getting convoluted. How raising the ticket seat prices, how does that affect the studio? Does the studio make an extra profit off of that if they're based off of a percentage profit, or is it a hard solid number?
They make more if it's based on the percentage, because then it's if it's a percentage, then it's going to be a percentage of whatever that theater is charging for the ticket prices. But then if it is just we are making like which I think it has to be percentage. I think you can't do it any other way but a percentage. I think that's literally the only way.
Ticket prices have to stay consistent for the most part. You have a little leeway. Like there is a movie theater in Austin called iPic. When it first opened up, it was for the most part the only movie theater that had reclining seats, that nice, luxurious, and those tickets were roughly about $20.
They bring you a pillow and a blanket.
Yeah, regular movie theater was like $12. iPic was like $20, and there were a lot of people like, I can't afford to go see an iPic movie.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot more movie theaters that have reclining seats, and therefore it's no longer a premium. It's not a premium feature of that particular theater.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering like how that worked. Like iPic still exists. They still sell tickets for about $20. How does them charging $20 when everyone else is charging $12? How's that work as far as what profit the studios make off of it?
Yeah, so then it might be like there's a ticket cap where, there's a ticket standard price that just is across the board, in which case the theaters make a percentage of that price. And then anything else that the theater charges for that particular seat might be the theater itself might qualify that as we charge an extra $8 here for the luxury costs of our particular theater. The fact that we have that service that brings you a pillow and a blanket if you would like this, that, and the other. Like that is our services. Just like we charge for concessions, we charge for these services. Therefore, you do not get a share in that because that is something we do. Just like movie
but
studios,
it's wrapped into the ticket price.
Just like movie studios may not get a share of concessions, which of course, yes, the concessions aren't wrapped into ticket price, but they might. They're through the finagling of the numbers. There's a way I think that they could probably work around that. In which case, that might be the same situation that AMC would be looking at here, in which no, the money going to studios does not raise because AMC is raising the price on certain seats.
Yeah. Like, so kind of like what Lego's saying, that generally could be it, given those numbers. And it's like that, say, if it's like that for Ant-Man, when Ant-Man opens, all movie theaters may only make 20% off the ticket sales for the first 3 weeks. After that 3 weeks, it'll drop from 20. They will start to make 40, and the studio makes 60 for the next 2 weeks. After that 2 weeks, it drops again. The theater starts making 50%, something like that. The problem now that we're seeing is this shift in movies playing in the theater and then eventually going to streaming. By the time the movie theater is making 50% profit off of the ticket sales, that studio is already about to put that movie up on a streaming service. Disney is
particularly one they probably own.
Yeah. So, yeah, specifically like Disney. Black Panther. Now, Black Panther had a healthy theater run, so that kind of helped the theaters a little bit. It kept the movie in theater because it came out in November and it didn't pop up on Disney Plus until February 1st.
Yeah.
But something like that. Like, I don't know how powerful Ant-Man is going to be as far as box office numbers. We'll talk about that in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, like Ant-Man will probably play in the theater for a bit, but after it drops off, usually about after a month or so, it will probably still actually honestly be in the top 10 of the box office each weekend when it pops up on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So where's the profit that the theaters are going to be making off of that?
Only from the people who are like, I just want to see this in the theater again.
Yeah.
And that's a very small number of people who do that.
Yeah. So that is going to, I feel like that's going to severely hurt theater numbers as well. And
ultimately,
it's going to hurt if they're charging a premium for these, like where you're sitting at.
Yeah. Ultimately, we haven't heard it yet. So we saw Netflix walk back a little bit on the password stuff. They somewhat walked back on it. We'll probably end up seeing a larger walk back here
AMC
pretty soon.
While
we haven't seen it yet from AMC, we will very likely see it coming here pretty soon.
Yeah. I was actually scared about that because I joked with my brothers, like, what happens if we wake up on Wednesday? Like, this was something we were talking about last night. What happens if we wake up this morning? I already had the thumbnail done. I already had the plans, the notes, and everything to talk about this tonight. What happens when we wake up and AMC's like, we changed our mind? I'm like, all right, well, this is a non-story now, but yeah. I fully expect to see something like that pretty soon. They may, I'm willing to bet, they may actually let it go to the test theaters like New York, LA, and a couple other theaters or so. They may let it go to that, and I don't know. The fact that Ant-Man's about to come out, that might skew their numbers a bit, but I would like to see, like, in a normal, regular, like MCU release, complete domination of the box office that it's going to do. How would those numbers actually work? And I'm willing to bet they're probably going to end up having to backpedal that as well.
Yeah, I just don't see that plan really functioning right now. Especially as like there's talks of like recessions and inflation and all that. I just don't see now being the time that you want to raise prices on specific premium seating, premium sight line or whatever in AMC's, especially because we're talking about movie theaters that generally speaking don't have real reclining seats or good reclining seats. Most AMC's still have standard theater seating for the most part. So why am I paying more for a seat that doesn't let me kick back and relax,
Sean Wingblade, what is this, a theater for ants? Ant-Man should equal Ant-Man prices. The ants get to watch that movie for free, right?
Yeah. Well, ants crawling around, they get to look up at the screen and they get to see it for free.
Yeah. And to them, it's like the quadruple IMAX.
No one's checking their ticket prices.
Yeah.
Their ticket, seeing if they bought one or not.
Yeah. $8 for a small soda. Yeah, I don't need to go to a movie theater, get a soda and a popcorn and take out a bank loan. All right. Now I would say like the theaters, the main theater that we go to and the Alamo Draft House that's over here that we sometimes go to depending on what movie's playing. if we get food, we typically like will order what they serve, regular food, like what you would get at a restaurant, not so much like your very generic theater food.
And it's good stuff too.
It's pickle, nachos.
Pickle in Texas. It's good food too. Like it's actual like good entree type meals.
Yeah, and I would say they're reasonable prices. They're roughly as reasonable to what you would get going out to a fine dining. Like maybe the prices are slightly a step up from like a Chili's or something like that, but
3.5, 4-star restaurant, something like that.
Yeah. Now the food quality is good. I wouldn't say it's quite up there. Like I do prefer Chili's food. I prefer a burger from Chili's than I do from the movie theaters we go to. And the movie theaters are generally a little more expensive on just a basic hamburger, but I mean, it's not bad. It's not outrageous. You're not paying like $10 for a large popcorn. So, yeah, there was, yes, a pickle. There was a report that I think this was over this past week as well, where they were saying that like a lot of Texans like eating pickles at a movie theater, which I've never gotten the pickle at a movie theater.
Neither have I. It's not from this past week. It's been out there for a while. Okay. But yeah, pickle apparently is specifically a Texas pastime or whatever going to theater. I've never got one yet. I've smelled pickles while sitting in the theater. I'm like, why did you get the pickle? I like pickles, but I don't want to sit here and smell a vinegar-soaked cucumber while I'm sitting here trying to eat my popcorn or candy or whatever, trying to watch a movie.
Yeah,
weird.
And it's not like a little jar of pickles. It's one gigantic pickle.
It's a thick boy. You get a thick boy. Yeah, it's a weird thing, but. Yeah, so here's the thing. Yeah, the theaters that we go to, Alamo Drafthouse, the other one that we go to, they have, so these theaters, they serve food, but they also have bars attached to them.
Yeah.
They usually have bars where you sit there, you can get your favorite liquor drink or your favorite beer or whatever, and you can just relax and chill and hang out with friends. That's where these theaters have the opportunity to actually do something. Where you have a situation where you can take a theater. Back in the day, we go to a Cinemark. They had like a little cubby hole in the main lobby where there's a bunch of arcade machines and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You can go play like arcade game or something like that.
I haven't seen that in a while.
This is a good time to bring that back. If you want the theater to make an extra income, do something else in the theater that keeps people there and keeps people buying something, food, drink. Make it like you'll go see, like there's all across the country, there's these places like a main event type or a myriad of other things where they have bowling, laser tag, arcade games, whatever. They have, pool tables, whatever. They have all sorts of stuff. It's an entertainment complex. Start taking theaters and start, building out other ways that people can spend their time at the theater complex itself, doing something else. I'm not necessarily saying that you need to put bowling alleys in every single one of your theaters. That may work for a couple, but that doesn't work for all of them. But do something else. Make it a place where people can come, hang out, spend their time, hang out with their friends, like at the bar, go do something else fun while you wait for your movie, hang out after the movie and do something fun. That's how these theaters should be making money, not raising prices on tickets on seats.
There's a small city, whatever, outside of Austin. It's south of Austin, called Kyle. They actually have one of those in Kyle, which is weird. Why Kyle? Like it's not in Austin proper, it's in Kyle. But yeah, it's a giant entertainment expo. Huh?
Property taxes.
Oh, probably. It's a giant entertainment building that has bowling, golf, laser tag, and a movie theater built into it.
Yep.
Like that's a great idea.
You want to make money in your movie theater and you can't make it off ticket prices, then offer something else that keeps people around and keeps them spending money. Yeah,
those studios aren't claiming your glow golf putt.
That's the best part about the Alamo Drafthouse that's up here is it's actually got a really solid neighborhood kind of feeling bar in it. Where you can go get a nice little brew, and go hang out with friends in the neighborhood.
I think we've gone there just to grab a beer and not see a movie.
Yeah, we've just hung out up there before. They have a wide selection of beer. You just chill, drink a beer, hang out with your friends.
Has like a patio and everything. We have filmed reviews for movies on their patio.
Yeah. So I mean This is what AMC, for some reason, it's not clicking with them. Like, granted, I understand. In order to do that may require some remodeling of most AMCs, or with Cinemark, it may require them remodeling their buildings, and sometimes they're in like business parks or whatever, retail shopping centers where they can't really remodel a building. But for the most part, you're looking at situations where, like, if you want to change, you want to adapt, put something else there that will make you money, that isn't the movie, that keeps people around and hanging out at your establishment. Yeah. A nice neighborhood bar does the trick.
Yeah. Anyways, this has been your business lesson for today.
We're not that stupid.
Yeah. And that was just like, people generally are not. And that I said this with the Netflix thing on Twitter, and I was like, I hate when like these giant corporations come out with this idea that they've had like an entire board of people that get paid hundreds of thousands salary. They all come up with an idea, but little old me with like 300 people following me on Twitter, 1.68 thousand following us here on YouTube, I'm able to look and go, y'all are dumb. And it's not just me as a normal consumer just making a judgment call on what a business chooses to do. Pure and simple, that, like the thing with Netflix, we all realize how stupid of an idea it is. Everyone is capable, potentially, of common sense. And so we all understand that. Yeah. That's why I use that term loosely. But like, we're all able to understand it. Why are these mega corporations not able to understand it themselves? Why is this an idea that's out of the hundreds and thousands of employees they may have, not one person was like, guys?
Their first thought is always to maximize the dollar without spending the dollar to do it. How can we make more money with what we already have? Oh, just raise prices on the seats. Oh, okay. That sounds good to me.
And I feel like part of it may be they're just not used to how the internet responds now. They're still not fully into the internet age, where if they make a decision, they make an announcement, then they don't follow up and watch like what's being talked about on Twitter. And I know Twitter is like generally a trash heap for opinions anyways, but aside from that, there is still a common thought overall. So yeah, this is why top down. Every single business that I've worked for catering to customers, especially with the sales aspect, every single one of them have always pushed a top down selling point.
When the people at the top already have their money, then nothing else matters, really.
Well, no, this is like a quick example. You go to any kind of a retail store that sells appliances, say you want to buy a washer and dryer. When you walk to the appliance section, the first thing you see is like usually the most expensive washer and dryer right there as you walk in. You actually have to walk further into the appliance department before you find the like $200, $300, $400 washer, $400 dryer, the ones that you actually can afford. But you get bombarded. It's the same reason why if you go to a grocery store, you want milk. Milk's all the way the F in the back of the store. You got to walk past candy and cereal and everything else to get to it. Yeah. Same reason.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, everyone has officially graduated from the Cinefanatics School of Business. Feel free to frame your certificate on your wall.
We don't have one drawn up. There's nothing to print. Just take out a piece of notebook paper and write down certificate. And then you can just staple it to your wall. You don't even really need to go out and buy a frame. We don't want you spending too much money on this. It's fake.
Let us know if you put that on your resume, what it actually means, because I'm curious. But otherwise, yeah, that's been the business discussion for movies tonight. So, Oh, that's not what Lego was referencing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of what you were saying. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm just used to the phrase top down. Okay. Anyways, all about making money for the Big Daddy Corporation. That's it. So make sure y'all like this video. Hit the like button. If you're watching this on a replay, comment below. What are your thoughts, feelings, and opinions? Did we seem to sign the loser with the BS? BS. That's great. I love that he has the business degree or Bachelor of Science. Yeah. anyways, leave comments down below. If you're watching this on a replay, what did you think? Did we get anything wrong? Was there anything else that maybe we're not thinking about in this recuperating? It's perfectly okay if we got something wrong.
But if we did, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I love talking about how businesses work and business decisions and stuff. So yeah, I like seeing that kind of information. This is like the random boring stuff I read outside of watching movies. So yeah, anyways, do all the YouTube things, hit the subscribe button, make sure you follow us at Cinefanatics MLP on Twitter and Instagram. Again, we have the marquee coming up on the 17th, Friday the 17th, about rom-coms. We'll be announcing our guests next week on the tagline, but that will be Friday the 17th, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. There's also going to be the Cinefanatics podcast, which will be up on Tuesday, Valentine's Day, the 14th. That will be talking about rom-com movies as well. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be audio almost everywhere you can get the podcast. I'm still working on trying to get the Apple podcast thing to work. And there is a video version here on our channel. Otherwise, you can follow me personally at Robert Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Also, youtube.com/@RobertAdamsMLP, where I do have plans. I am waiting on something, and I will be back up and running on doing stuff on my channels shortly.
Yeah, you can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, as well as twitch.tv/Chris Adams MLP, where I also am streaming and having loads of fun.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. We appreciate each and every single one of y'all being a part of this show in the chat. We will see y'all next week. Y'all have a great evening and good night.